Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been quite a while since I've done a video. I think it was the first week of April when I last posted a video. So let's discuss a little bit about what has happened over the past 3 weeks and talk about the price action currently. And let's get going. We've got Microsoft here on deck. You can see on the right, that's the yearly chart. You can see this interesting price point. It's at 400 right now. This is after hours. So you can see the way to read this is Microsoft is at 400 at the close. So today, Thursday, 25 April, Microsoft dropped 2.5% approximately. And this was on earnings and then prior to earnings. And then after hours, I guess earnings was good. Let's take a look real quick here. Let's see. Yep, Microsoft third quarter result beats expectations. Okay. Rises on strong revenue growth. Okay, so it's a very positive earnings report. You can see that after hours it popped 4.3%. So now it's sitting at 416. So let's take a look. All right, you can see my annotation from the first week of April, this big blue arrow. And just to review for folks what I talked about, let me move this a little bit. Okay, there you go. So what I talked about was this zone of resistance up here at all-time highs, the red line, red highlight, and that this support trend line would need to hold if Microsoft were to continue its upward move. Additionally, I also talked about down here, you can see this red line I drew down here on the RSI depicting bearish divergence in the momentum versus price. And sure enough, price has sold down and found support here today. So you can see, I want to toot my own horn a little bit. This trend line that I've drawn here held. And the point isn't that it held. Let me rephrase. The point is that if we are good at drawing technical analysis, if we're good at determining zones of support and resistance, and then when price behaves a certain way at that line that we've drawn, then that means we should be confident in how we analyze this particular stock, at least. I wouldn't say the entire market, but this Microsoft stock, and that would allow us in the future to make informed trade decisions with lower risk. Okay, so you want to preserve your wealth so that you can continue to grow it. So let's talk about the price action today. I'm going to delete this guy real quick. You can see today that at the open, it opened down here. Okay, let's use this. Opened down here, and the buyer stepped in, bought it up, fought up here, came down, and closed at support. And what does that mean, from a price action standpoint? It means that Microsoft, at the moment, still has a lot of people, institutions that believe in it. You can see down here, the earnings. This is the earnings report here, line. Okay, they did well, fine. Surprise, 4.25 beat on the earnings, and revenue was up, 1.5%. That's fine, no big deal. The main thing isn't exactly the report. The main thing is how do the institutions respond to this report? Are they taking profit, or are they coming back in to buy the stock back up? So what you can see here, after hours, it's up here at 416. Okay, this little blue line over here, right here, is where price is after hours. Okay, local time here, I'm in London time, so 5 hours. What is this? It's 10 o'clock here, so it's 5 o'clock there, 5:15 US time, East Coast time, excuse me. So we'll have to see tomorrow if there's follow through. Is my thesis changing based on today's move? It's not. So I'm going to re-annotate here my thesis. My thesis is still lower prices. Okay, so today's move doesn't change that thesis. Let's go to the weekly real quick. Take a look at Microsoft on the weekly. Okay, it's all-time highs. Yes, this long-time trend line here, which I've drawn, goes so far back. Let's see. Let's go to the monthly. Monthly. All right, it goes back to, pretty much inception. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on it, but it does go back a long way, and we'll have to see. Okay, so this is the weekly. My thesis still is further lower prices, I think down to 200 for Microsoft. All right, let's switch over to GDX, gold miners. Gold miners, you can see a big green candle here. So does that mean on the far right here, which was, let's see, the past a few weeks, price has been bought back up. But is there further momentum to the upside? So let's take a look. All right, so my thesis back then, which was early April, is that further prices up for GDX, yeah? Positive outlook. Now, what I didn't anticipate, what I was hoping, let me move this around. I was hoping that price back here in the early April would come down to these two green support zones because that's where I wanted to take a long. So my entry area would have been down here. I would have loved an entry down there. But price didn't come down there, and I'm not chasing price. That's one thing I want to remind everybody about. At least the way in which I trade the market, I don't chase price. If I miss an entry, then I miss it. So let's see what we can do here to further annotate this chart. I'm going to extend this line, kind of reposition it a little bit. Delete this one. Let's delete this guy. Let's extend this one down further. Okay, that's support area there. Then let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. Let's save this. Bigger picture. Okay, so there's definitely upside. The 200-day is down in the 2960 zone. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, so this purple trend line up here, okay, this one goes really far back. Now, this upward purple line, yeah, this is the weekly chart, goes all the way back to the 2010s, 2011s. So I think there's still upside, at least in the near term, for the next maybe couple weeks, at least. Now, the question is, will I take an entry to go long? I'm not. I don't like to chase because I missed the entry down in the 3150s zone. So let's annotate this real quick because that's what I do. So I think there will be further upside. It may even attempt to hit this purple line here. So I'm going to annotate it like this. Okay. And we'll have to see. Let's check to see if there's divergence building. So down here on the RSI, comparing this spot to here. Yeah, there's a little bit of divergence there, not a lot, tiny bit there. And I would say, annotate that just a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's not a lot. So for now, I think further upside, the 3560 may be some resistance here because he got rejected once right there, right? So the rejection took place right here, which is on the 12th, April 12th. He got rejected there and it came back down. But buyers stepped back in. They actually stepped in kind of early, I feel. They bought it in here, which is fine. Good for them. I missed the entry, so I'm a little bitter. But yeah, some further prices upward. Maybe I would say that there may be some resistance here. Okay, so it's possible to hit that and come back down. If it comes back down to this area, yeah, I would be happy to take a long because it's off of support. Okay, I'll just annotate it like this. Overall, the trend is up. I just like to get good entries. All right, that is GDX. Let me save this. Switch over to XOM Mobile. Take a look at our energy play. You can see some, over the past year to date, this long uptrend. And then it started to fail, and now it's attempting to retest it. Okay, let's go over here. All right, so early April, I thought, okay, so I thought this zone here, I'm going to point it out. My thesis was upward move. Okay, so I thought it would be a bullish trade if you can get it off of this trend line down here. Now what happened is I thought this would be resistance at the purple. Make this a little bit bigger. And indeed it went up, failed, and this would have been resistance again if it was really meant to be bearish. Right now what I'm seeing is this may be maybe a little bit bullish because price attempted to, the bears came in, tried to sell it down. Okay, all this selling here. Bulls came in, bought it up from here all the way up, and they were able to get it above the purple trend line. That goes back a ways, I'm sure, because that's how I draw things. And then all these green candles to show support up here. Now there is some waning volume. Okay, volume's kind of going downward, and at the same time we have a little bit of bearish divergence, not a ton, but it was very overbought at around 85 on the RSI. So the question is, will this move up here be enough for price to bounce off this purple trend line and continue upward? I'm going to switch to the weekly and the monthly. Let's take a look. The monthly, all right, so it is at, yeah, it's like all-time highs. So it's at all-time highs on the monthly with bearish divergence, obviously down here, bearish down here. So the question is, in the near term, what is it going to do? It may hold. I mean, am I in this trade? I'm not in this trade right now because I was waiting for it to set up short so I can go short. But right now it's sitting pretty above this purple trend line. So I'm going to wait. Let's see how price tests this trend line again. Okay, because it's earnings. When do earnings come out? They come out on Friday. Yeah, so it's possible. Possible what they'll do, what the market makers will do, regardless of the earnings outcome, is that I feel this is the setup. Okay, I'm going to make a prediction. First, let me annotate this. There's all-time highs, institutions like hedge funds, they want to take their profit. So my bet is they're going to have really positive earnings. Okay, they're going to pump the price up. Price will go up. It may even go above the all-time high to suck in more retail investors. So they'll pump it up, and then over the subsequent weeks, months, I'd say weeks, it'll retest this purple trend line and maybe even come over here to where the purple trend line and this black trend line converge. Ultimately, prices are lower. Yeah, so you heard it here first. Okay, I'm not going long on this. It's too risky, at least in my way of trading. If you can do it, I'm happy for you. If you can make good calls and preserve your wealth and do well for your family, it's fantastic, really. Okay, let's switch over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin year to date, you can see it's just moving sideways. Okay, a lot of sideways action. I call that dead money, money that's deployed but doesn't go anywhere. Switch over doesn't make you any money. That's what I mean. Switching to the daily chart, you can see my annotations early April. Now at the time, it's been so long since I've annotated. All right, what you can see here, I'm going to switch the colors real quick. Delete this one. Okay, you can see that when price failed here, this long red candle, when it failed, of course, price came back and tested this trend line, tested it from underneath. And this trend line held as resistance. Additionally, you can see further lower prices, okay? Now, one thing I wanted to note is on the RSI down here, we have all this bearish divergence, okay, to unwind. That goes back to the start of November. That's a lot of bearish divergence to unwind. So what I see happening is this. I'm going to annotate a little bit, okay, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit, take a look at where I can draw support. Maybe I'll draw a support line from here. It's not pretty, but that's how I'm going to draw it. Maybe like that. Okay, so what you can see is touches here, two supports here, hit here, supports, hit here, support. Now the question is whether price will find resistance up here. So I think I'm going to draw this. That can be resistance because right now we know this. This is definitely support down here. Okay. So what is my thesis? Due to the RSI having not changed, I think further price is low. So I'm going to annotate this. I'm going to take this arrow. Okay. I want to say, sure, it'll bounce. It'll bounce a little bit around here. It'll bounce, come up, hit resistance maybe. Okay. I'll just draw a small arrow because that's not the main move. The main move is here. That's the main move. The main move is down to the 200-day. So the 200-day moving average is down here. That's the 200-day moving average. Between where we are up here at the current price of what, 65,000, from 65,000 down here, 200-day, that's about a 20% move. Okay, so that's the next move I think, is down to the 200-day. It'll take for Bitcoin maybe, let's give it a couple weeks. I do intend to do more frequent videos, 2 per week like I used to do. I've just been busy. I've had other things with higher priorities that have bumped my video making. Okay, so those are my ideas for the next week. I wish you best of luck with your trades. As always, remember that my content is for educational purposes only. It's not investment advice. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And when you subscribe, please do hit the bell icon.